Enzo's. It's a washing outfit out of Sandusky, Ohio. Gives $500 for a sign for a sponsor for the year. So, I'm gonna make a note of that. And I guess we've got a couple of bills here to pay.
Stanley Haddocks for black track on the tractor, $100. 308517. City of Prestonsburg for Mark Payne and Logan, $600. 30851.
For these, right there. I'll change that like you said on the other.
Okay.
Very good. I'll look at them, pass them around. That's for the posters, they're looking at there. We had 50 of them.
308519 Broadway printers for $94 for the schedules.
You didn't have anything over on the other. They're passing around some placemats that we're going to put inside the Reno roadhouses, and then we'll make some, I guess, for the steakhouse in Pikeville. And we're going to put them in some of Giovanni's pizza places and stuff. We're going to have some type of menu when we're done with them. But this is just some calendars that's got the dates, race dates, and championship dates, and it's got different pictures and different settings on them and stuff. And then we got Missy fixed us some of these brochures here.
Just a sample, so we gotta clean it up and fix it.
Sample till we clean it up and stuff. Look pretty good too. Gonna pass that around. You don't know. It's both of them same issue.
No, they're a little bit different, but it's just an idea.
Yeah,
I just printed out a couple of them.
It's something like the things that we're gonna put out in the tourism places.
We'll have to adjust the fonts
Stuff like
and print
that.
and spacing.
I think Andy's got one little word he wants changed on the pipe. He wants it pipe of city tourism.
Okay.
Rest of it stays pretty much the same. Welcome him back. He's been down and out. He's done better.
Didn't do close racing season, you know I'm ready.
Well, I know, that's some serious shit you got going on there. But I'm glad to see you out and back out and stuff. So now we're gonna get to the good part, I assume, which is the rules. So who wants to start whining? Well, yeah, okay, let's, won't you introduce them? I don't really know them all.
Well, we have Patrick Davis from around Prestonsburg.
Glad to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Aaron Nelson is with the Floyd County Chronicle.
Yeah, I think I met him.
Andrea Sadler is with the Floyd County Times.
Okay.
We also offer some help if we need it.
Don't offer something.
I gave her a warning.
I can take you out right now. If you don't believe me, ask Dan. But, no, you know, that's what it's gonna take to pull this thing off, is people to help. Because, there's a lot of work to this.
Well,
More
we
work.
gotta be a community, right, and get together.
Well, you know, I mean, it's, Andy comes and helps his wife, and, he helps, and, Bastion here helps, comes and helps set up, a couple of his friends, you know, guys, and crew. I mean, we got him, he helps, and it takes a lot to set this thing up, tear it down, you know. Too bad we can't set it up, just leave it. But, you know, we gotta set it up, come Sunday evening, it's gotta be back at our place. So we gotta take everything back down and put it up, all that stuff. So it can get kind of course, pipe, you know, pipe, we gotta do the same, you know, we gotta fix all the parking lot back and, you know, and stuff like that. It's just a lot of work for, you know,
For a big weekend.
well,
Actually, some, was a church sitting there.
it just takes a lot of work to get it done and try to keep everybody happy, which, you know, it's hard to do too, but, we can address the rules first, or we can address the pit rules at each track first. Don't matter to me. They kind of go hand in hand.
I'll need to move the rules first. Get that out of the way. You know, everybody's always had discussion about, you know, like my little truck. Where are you gonna let me run my little truck? As you know how it's set up, you know how it was.
You know, all I can tell you is, you know, these rules was pretty much what we run last year.
And my truck has always been tagged in insurance. I can drive it down here if I want to. But it is loud. I've heard people say it's loud. It shouldn't be loud. You know.
Well, if it's tagged in insurance, don't say nothing on here about being loud, I don't think. You know, the street classes, and I'll be the first to tell you that I ain't a fan of the rules at all. But it's what we got, it's what we run last year, and we're kind of trying to get, of course, the city up where we had to wait for his okay of his people to do the outlaw, is the reason why we brought it back. You know, there's no use of me starting outlaw plastic homes, because we knew this year we was gonna do it as a group, so there wasn't no use of me running something he can't run.
You know, 'cause
So that was where it come from, and people don't realize where all this went.
Well, you got 3 different places that you got to cater to.
Some got different.
Everything has to be okay
That's
with all
right, see,
3.
that's where the pit rules are gonna differ.
Just like being married, ain't it?
Well, yeah.
Just because it's okay with you, don't mean it's okay with her.
But, you know, it is what it is, and these rules are pretty straightforward if you just read them. You know, and street tire class, I've never heard of a class called street tire. I always thought it's, you know, stock street car, all motor and such, and then put your rules out there. But it is what it is, and we got it out there, it's been out there since last year.
Actually, it's been, since inception, it's always been street tire or drag race. It's always been that way.
But here's the rules, and here we'll probably get into the pit identification on the street class. The street class rule is you have to drive them in. Now, there will be a sticker that pipe them. There'll be a sticker that we put on your windshield to drive them in. There'll be a sticker put on there to trailer them in. And when they go through tech, that'll decide what class you're gonna run in. And mainly, at his track, if you drive a street car in, you correct me if I'm wrong, you have to drive it in, and you can't drive no other vehicles in with it, strictly because of room. Am I right or am I wrong? So I just want to get it out there simply, well, you let us do it at home, well, don't do it at Piper, because we have 150 cars show up. I think we're going to run something anyway. But he don't have the room for a car, a truck, and a trailer. See what I'm saying?
Well, the other part about that rule too, for the street class, was exactly what it started out to be in Pikeville, was a street light challenge. You drive your car in, you race it, you drive home. You know, it had to be licensed and insured to be able to run that. One thing that we did do this year was the drag radio class used to be the same way. It had to be licensed and insured. Okay, well, we took that off because you can trailer those in.
I think that's where everybody's getting confused. You know, I'm speaking for me and the racers, because I've got about 30 guys that goes with me wherever I race. Everybody's getting confused, street, tire, drag radial. Nowhere in drag radial does it say street car. Does it, in the rules? It's not for street cars.
Right.
If you want a street car type race, you need to race in street tire class.
Exactly.
All these guys are online and you're getting bombarded with it, I see it. Cage, no cage. That has nothing, a cage slows the car down because it adds weight, it's a safety feature.
I've never heard of that before, but
And I can just be flat out honest with you, people are dodging people like me and Keith's vehicle. And I don't think you got cage in your truck, do you? You do? I mean, you know, we race at all the events. I raced at Pikeville, I raced at Combs, I raced every race at Pikeville except for one last year, and that was the last one. And that's only because it got rained out, and I'd already made prior obligations to be at a track rental at Clay City. But, you know, the thing about it is, I can follow any set of rules you make, but here's the thing, all of us guys are building cars. We're building our cars around your rules. When the rules are set, the rules gotta be there. I can't go spend $500 on a set of tires and turn around and have to buy another set. I don't, I'm a poor old boy, working boy.
I know that.
I work 3 jobs so I can race.
that's right.
And, you know,
What class are you wanting to race in?
I'm gonna have 3 or 4 cars. I'm wanting my green car, I'm gonna run in drag racing.
Is it back half?
No, I'm stock suspension. I'm not mini tub. I was going to mini tub in my first winter. I didn't because I don't know if that would, it don't say nothing in there about it, and that's why I got tub or mini tub question mark. I mean,
Well, I think last week we talked about that because James brought it up. And we told him back half cars would be that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Chris and them don't run back at it.
Right.
They run stock suspension.
Right.
I
But
ain't
here's
even
another question. Now, dash, you gotta look in the firewall. The union said this, you gotta run outlaw. No dash, you gotta run outlaw. What are you gonna do with some of these boys that's got these fabricated dashes?
And that's what another thing I'm hearing things about stock seats, signal lights, turn signals, horns,
That's in the street.
things of that nature.
You have to have all that.
My car, I have headlights and taillights. That's a rule at every track. I don't care what
That's all
class
I
you're in.
do.
You gotta have a working headlight and a
At
working
least one,
taillight.
yeah.
I have working headlights, I have working taillights, I have working brake lights. I don't have turn signals because I modified my steering column because my cage, the turn signals hit it, so I removed all that stuff. But if I've gotta have turn signals on my car, I'll put it on a three-way hog
You
switch.
only need that for street.
I'm
You
not
don't
really
need
sure.
that for
And I think that's where everybody's getting
Can I
confused, is the different rules for different
I'm
classes.
sure.
Well, let me read you the drag radial class rule.
Those ain't the ones we had last week.
That's what I'm saying.
I know the ones we had last week said about the stock and here and dash.
I've got a stock spring dash in my car, but
I sat here and read them.
I think that's what that more or less
These are
falls
it.
back to, is like, you know, when we was all drag racing and our drag cars, we had aluminum
Yeah.
dash in there.
The only thing it says about stock dashes.
Yeah.
my car, I can go to any track, anywhere, and I'm certified to run. I've got the bulkhead in the back because I got my battery in the back of my car. I've got the bulkhead between piece of sheet metal back here. I've got a stock spring
That's the rules,
dash,
it's all.
but I don't have stock seats. I've got race seats in my car.
Well, not
Because
because
the
cars
cage.
don't have races.
When you've got a cage in your car, them stock seats are too
That's the
wide.
rule.
But you, what I'm saying, your seats, if you got 2 seats,
Yeah.
you need a drag seat.
Well, that's
Your
what
car,
I'm
you need a
talking
race seat anyway. But
It's
sports
tight
cars,
for cage, yeah.
And well, it's like mine now, but I have no car seats on that. I don't have stock seats in it, it's got drag seats in it, and I don't ever run it. But now,
Okay, now I see what the problem is. I don't get on Facebook and I don't get on that page because there's too much ignorance on it. So
I
I don't know
understand.
what's posted on it. He just showed me what's posted on it and this ain't right. Because we just sit here and told you one thing and this says something completely
That's what I'm
different.
saying, and I'm hearing people from the meetings
No.
tell me bits and pieces.
There was a paper sitting here last week, I know I'm not senile, that said, right here, street tire class, because I read it and we were talking about it. Appearances of stock dash, it might not have been on.
I can
Facebook,
understand
but
that.
It sits here. But we can't ask people, I mean, whether it's a rule or not, we can't ask people to run drag tire class and have a car up here in all stock and interior stock, and it's not in the street tire class, is it? I mean, it's just not fair.
Well, my question is it all right, using Chris or our Ricky for an example,
All right, then.
if his tires works, let him run it, is all I say. If your tires works on drag radio, or if you can run on bicycle tires. If it works, it ain't nobody's fault. If we can't beat you, it ain't your fault. It's our fault. Same with
So here's
Ricky.
where that came from what I seen last year. We had a bunch of boys come up from
But no.
Vance, I think, that had that Malibu, and said he drove it to the grocery store every day, okay?
I see that.
They didn't have no back seat, didn't have no passenger seat, nothing on the dash, okay, nothing on the dash, it was nowhere near.
Any back half.
With that being said,
Y'all added that rule.
we had to add that rule because he had drag rail tires on it. But that car was
I
definitely
mean,
built.
that reads that, and then reads that, and then reads that. That's
Now,
what we'd be doing, but.
At the beginning of our season last
If I
year,
was
and
in their
everything's
shoes,
constantly evolving, okay? And we trying to make the rule,
Because this makes no
I
sense.
mean, next year, we're gonna refine them just even more.
They put me, just use me for example. I went over there that one time we had it over there and, you know, I run my car in drag radio and then power adder and on power, and then they didn't have many cars. They said, well, if y'all wanna run both, you can, and I did in my car. Well, the next time I come back, you know, I can only run one class, which I understood. But then the next race, they made me run outlaw because I didn't have a passenger
You know
seat.
what I mean? In the two
Yeah.
classes, it should say it.
I've got a passenger seat, the only reason my passenger seat was out then
That's what's
was
got
when I
me.
just thought
And
I
I'm
used to
sure it
sit
has
this way in the
that.
back because I've got space confinement. I put it up here to test
That's what I
something
think.
and I have a
Somebody
seat
may
out.
go to the pipeline.
But, you know, I didn't know that and I ran outlaw and still won.
Correct me if I'm wrong, drag radio doesn't require insurance.
That was,
No tax, no insurance.
these
I
roads are so close
That's what I'm saying.
that these can go here very easily, and these can go here very easily. I mean, they're,
But, you know, that's why I'm over here today, so that way we can get it all straightened out and
I mean, we're gonna have
it is what it is and it's gonna be what's gonna be, but we need to know
Here's
what
what
it's
I
gonna
think
be.
happened. I think somebody made a typo, simple click of an enter button, because them two you have circled there should be here and here. They shouldn't, this should, you can't take a car and say put drag tires on it, but the dash has to be stock, interior has to be.
Well,
Now, these two classes, yes.
No,
Yeah, real old.
but what I was just trying to say, okay, what I was just explaining to him, at the beginning of the year last year,
Yeah.
those four classes were basically all the same except for the tires,
Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
And all four of those classes, all those cars had to be licensed and insured last year at my track, okay?
Right.
So they all had to be, and what was happening was, before we started the outlaw class, we had all these guys from Vance coming up here, or wherever, with these big cars that were
They're not back
gutted.
half cars.
They were all back half cars, and
Race
they were race cars, and that wasn't fair to put them in those street classes.
And that's my car, you know, it's a race oriented car. It's, if you had to classify my car, it's more of a race car than a street car.
Yeah.
But I keep it
It's
licensed.
a radical
I
freak.
keep it insured. If I wanna buy the higher octane fuel, I can drive it anywhere I want. I mean, as you've seen, I run every class you had at the last arm drop.
Let me back
to
up
back.
just a little bit on what Andy's stated there. The first race that I got involved with last year, when he asked me to start helping him out, when I quit racing to start helping, had two classes. Had the street car class and the drag radio class.
Yeah, that was it.
I mean, it was as unfair as anything
Oh,
that
yeah.
you've ever put together.
Yeah.
So I went and told Andy, I said, if you're gonna draw a crowd, you've got to get, everybody's got to have a little bit of a chance to win.
Exactly.
But these boys, they ain't got a prayer you're gonna get nobody.
Nope.
That's when we started working on rules, and then Huggy and Andy got involved to putting this series together. So we couldn't let that information out last year, but we was always mucking with the rules of switching them around.
And when you start this, you may have to come out and change a few rules
We may have to
throughout.
find them
I
again,
mean, you know,
but.
Well, the one thing,
it's hard to sit here and get every rule.
but keep this in mind, the one thing that we don't want to do, because of what you just said earlier, was we don't want to change the rules because people have been building their cars around.
Based on that, yes.
Okay, now, with that being said, there is a clause in there that says the tech guys are the ones that are gonna make the final decision.
Yes.
Now, I mean, that's just, and at the end of the
That
race,
comes
they're
airport,
gonna
I
make
want to do the
notes.
tech. I can take care of it. It comes airport or Biden.
Well,
Let me
here's
do
the
the
deal, here's the deal, whoever we're gonna get to tech, we'll tech at all 3 tracks.
I want to do
They
the
have to
tech.
go to other track.
And the first track that we're gonna do, at the first place, we're gonna take pictures, we're gonna do all kinds of stuff, to make sure everything stays fair for the whole year. And that'll be the class that you'll be in the rest of the year.
If you change your car in the middle of the season, back half it or whatever, then, you know.
And we'll have pictures and proof
Well,
that, and then you'll be disqualified.
Right here,
I don't know any.
right here is my suggestion on the whole thing, and you all may disagree with me. I suggest that you take out cars must be stock appearance inside. Now, hear me out. Hear me
Depends on your
out.
definition of stock appearance.
Hear me out. In the 2 drag regular classes. Then I think that means you can't run a back half car in the drag regular class of any kind.
Back half cars got.
It has to be stock other than the interior, it's got to have working lights. Headlight, tail light.
That's it.
you
That's all
wanna
they
put-
need.
That's
Whatever.
any track you go to.
Okay, then I think you need to add in outlaw class. A lot of people call a back half car from a seat back seat back, from a far wall back. Y'all gonna have to clarify that.
A back half car is behind the
Back
seat,
half.
back.
Behind the driver's
Right.
seat.
Behind the driver's seat.
It's
back
all
to be
stock.
modified.
Let me read you
From the
that.
front,
You
to
drive
behind
the
the
seat
seat.
far wide.
Bring you
So
one.
let me read you the rules. I mean,
I'm just saying what a back half car is.
I know what a back half car is, but there are different interpretations of a back half car.
Yeah, everybody.
Okay.
Manipulate it how they need it to work for them.
Well, that's true, but it says right here, car in this class can run by splatter rink wall slicks. Cars do not have to be for highway use. Power adders allowed. Cars in this class may have notch springs, mini tube.
It's many times, so they get, if I many time my car, I'd have to run that class.
Well, somebody needs to
Wow.
learn how to spell.
Well, yeah,
That says tube.
they say you've been through a whole lot of hands before it's all in.
Anyway, I'm just stating what the rules are
Just say you
stating.
went to a 315, that ain't.
You know, I know what you probably meant by it, but, or can be back half cars. Okay, and then it says no tube chassis, center steer, open wheel, of course, we know their insurance won't cover none of that. So, my suggestion is you put no full tube chassis.
In and out.
Yeah, because from the back,
Period.
we don't care if it's tube, square.
Cause you know, you get a lot of these unibodies. You
Well,
don't have
that's
to
where,
bring-
that's actually, that's where it says no two chassis, A tube chassis is front and back.
Right. So are you gonna classify these cars, if say 10 of them come to Pennsylvania, that's tubed up the roll cage up to the front dash,
What it is.
then they're gonna be allowed to run out if it's stocked from our forward. So I think you need
If
to
I'm taking
clarify.
that, I will put them in outlaw place.
Well, last
Well,
week,
they'll have to run out,
Yeah.
period. Yeah.
Well, outlaw, there ain't no rules in no way, just around, you know, if you can
Well,
run tractor cars.
According to these rules, the only rule in outlaw is no tube chassis, center steer, open wheel.
Yeah.
That's good, we already got outlaw, that's good.
That eliminates your full-blown race cars, that eliminates your drag
I
cars.
agree, because we, our tracks,
I
that
really
hump
think
is
the
too
drag
dangerous.
racing class is gonna be the best class.
His, you know, until he gets fixed, will
What do
be
you think,
things.
Chris?
And we're looking at next year, maybe adding that class, if we're gonna pick.
Now, I agree with you.
Well, I think you just need to take them 2 lines and stick them up in these 2 things right here, and I think that'll clarify
And I think that'll make a lot of people
100%.
happy and bring a lot of
of
cars.
everything.
Let me speak on Chris's questions just a little bit, and it's just my opinion. If Chris brings his car, he's got 2 front seats in it, he's got stock appearing dash in it, not aluminum dash. Then and these drag regulars, he ain't touching none of that, he can run the drag regular place. If he wants to run all motor, he can run that. If he wants to run his prior, he can run it bumped up and up. If he comes in with aluminum dash in one seat, he's going to outlaw place. I mean, that's simple.
Well, I
And that
think we
needs to
all,
be clearly stated in
well,
the
see,
rules.
it ain't clearly,
When we
because when we
redo the
started
round
this,
map.
I think we agreed that your windows had to work, Your door handles have
Let
to
me tell
work.
you, these guys will take any, I know guys that
I know, I mean, we got
They
this
will take
rule,
that.
but we didn't,
and they'll change it however they want it.
I know.
I promise you.
The one
but.
that gets me more than anything is cage, no cage, like these guys said, we need a cage.
Cage,
on it.
no cage, I
They
ain't
kill
never
me.
figured that
Cage is
out.
nothing but safety. I don't care how you do it.
Just
A lot of
like
outlaw
these
flags
days,
is fine.
we're not a
That's what I'm
IHRA
saying,
track,
I
number
mean-
one. Number two, that rule states in a quarter mile, am I correct, incorrect, you
Absolutely.
gotta go 8 seconds or
Well,
lower.
it actually falls down to the 8 if you'll go in and read the rules.
749 and faster, you have to have
Yeah,
that.
and 1190s in the quarter, I think,
Yeah.
is. you gotta
Yeah,
have
they
cage,
back here
something
got a
like
car that
that.
run that, don't come
And then,
749?
in a quarter,
No, no.
660 feet.
No.
And I think that 749's a quarter.
I mean, that's.
749 and faster and 8
But
miles.
at any rate,
You
I
have to have
mean,
cage.
you know, I understand
If it's not a
cage
chain,
for
it's
safety, but a cage to me, that's gonna outrun a non-cage car, yeah, it can,
I'll give you
yeah,
an
it can
example.
too.
It ain't the cage that
Corvette.
No,
That's right with my car.
They can run a 940 and a quarter mile. They can have no cage, no parachute, no nothing. And the rules state plain and simple, if you wanna go in and read them, if you run over 150 mile an hour, you gotta have a parachute. You gotta have cages on the speeds he's running.
but, you know, down our track, 85, 90, unless you're Will Kendra in the Nissan, he gets to
Well,
190.
your car's the second fastest one down there as far
Yeah,
as speed.
next to Willer, and you're just at 89 mile. In that green Mustang.
Okay, so you're gonna
Make a lot of noise.
Feels like I'm going faster than that.
No,
I mean, that's just
You
going.
better check your clock, bud. You better check your radar guns. It's wrong. I'm faster than that.
That's the police car.
You know you're running faster than that.
I figured they got them set up anyway to get tickets out.
Oh, yeah.
They may not be doing 80 mile an hour.
He just doing 75.
No, I mean, that's what they, I guess they,
Clocked it.
I think one of them clocked y'all some down there one day, but, I mean, you know, I think the rules are some pretty good rules to be what they are.
Being
But
somebody
I
that don't know anything about racing road,
well,
You really didn't do bad, it's just up to.
I think they need just a
A little bit of
little.
wording needs changed.
I don't think
is
it need
all.
to be changed, I think it just need to be clarified.
Yeah, exactly.
the only thing that I have, the only thing that I say about the rules is that at the end of the day, like it says about, on down there, it says that the text had the final say.
Yeah.
If you start changing rules now, you're gonna have everybody and their brother. If you change anything, any word on that rule right now, you'll have, it'll just.
Well, the text will have to be on the same page, cause if he brings the car in that ain't got no door handles, when the rest of it stop, you put him that law. The next one comes in, it's got door handles. You gonna put him drag rail.
I told you, I do think down there.
That's why we
Burn it
want,
in there.
that's why we were at, we were
You got
wanting, from the
power.
beginning, we wanted 3 texts from 3 different tracks to be at every race so that we can make those decisions and it's always gonna be.
But the bottom line is, if you come down there and you're not a full tube chassis, and you're not center steering, not off wheel, we're gonna let you
We're
race.
gonna let you race. That's the plan.
We got a new class we'll put you in.
What is a new class?
We'll let you know where.
I can tell you what the radio said.
I'm ready.
The outhouse class.
I'll be down.
Right here, I was gonna show it.
Is that am I right or wrong? That's what the radio said.
Are you gonna help?
What?
Would you like
You
to
got a
show
car with that license?
Yeah.
What the heck? I don't know what it
You'll
is.
find the rules here. On yours.
There we go.
I would rather, and I'm sure everybody else that runs an M2 class would rather see you in a parameter class, but you can actually run either one of them. Your rule is that your nitrous line's gonna have to be unhooked at the solenoid, unwired, unplugged.
Somebody was saying you gotta take solenoids off.
Well,
No,
we'll fight against that.
Disconnected from the cylinder.
It will be disconnected from the solenoid, and I'll have some kind of tape or
And the
everyone who's helped me
tank
test it.
has to be out.
We will,
And that means all of them,
Yeah.
not just some of them.
Yeah. If you're not gonna run a parade, I don't wanna have to deal with
If I gotta cheat to win, I don't need
That's what I said last time. I got one
You're
question.
not a racer if you don't cheat.
No.
I can tell you that right now.
There's a difference in being in the black, being in the gray area.
Hey, it's not cheating unless you get caught. Just like a speed ticket.
If anybody's running
I'm here to have fun.
if anybody's running non-pyrater, you don't need your ball anyway.
Well, what we're doing is to make it fair, I think we've agreed every round on the non-pyraters only.
Pop your hood.
You have to raise your hood,
Hillbilly
you have to be
teams.
tacked, shuts it, you can't.
Anybody with any experience can look at that engine and see if there's nitrous going in that engine. Anybody.
I don't know, man, some of these guys are tricky, they put cylinders underneath them.
Yeah, sir, I got a buddy called, he is all underneath this.
Let me tell you something, 1982 Pearl Harbor, 69 Oldsmobile car, we had to rotate plumb full of nights. So you ain't telling me.
So here's the new class, guys.
Drag race series, and we're about to tell you what that is. Thousands gather each year in Pikeville, Moorhead, and at the Combs Airport to watch East Kentucky drag racing at its finest. And a few months ago, those three venues came together to announce the East Kentucky Hillbilly Drag Race Championship Series. 5 classes were originally announced, but today organizers added a 6th class, the Outhouse class. And yes, they will be racing for money.
Going to be $100 for each race at each track, and then at the end of the year, we're going to keep points all year long, just like we do for the drag racing. And at the end of the year, we're going to give away $1,000.
No one knows outhouse racing better than Jimmy Kinney and the Hillbilly Christmas in July crew. And all of the $25 entry fees for the outhouse class will go to them.
The Hillbilly Christmas in July, we're a nonprofit organization. All of our money goes directly to the Shriners Hospital in Lexington. And this is just one of the things we do. We were set up for Hillbilly Days this year. We're going to do outhouse racing there. And the guys at the arm drop racing, they decided it'd be some fun to come down here and do some stuff. So this is what we want to do now.
Each outhouse racing team has 5 people who run and one who sits inside.
They'll never
But
make it
even though the
there,
outhouse races will be on.
Do you have to drive it in?
The other 5 classes-
We tagging insurance.
Y'all take it out to Waterloo?
it. Carry your own paper.
Can't be stinky neither.
Yeah.
Put that rule.
You gotta take the knots, right?
There will be 7 races in the 2016 series, and it all kicks off at the Combs Airport on April 30th. Reporting from the Combs Airport for EKB News, I'm Shannon Deskins.
Anyway,
They're gonna be sitting there, anybody can enter.
Well, outhouses will be there.
You, yeah, can run. I know they'll be there.
I can't wait.
You have to sit on pot
we'll let Jimmy Kenny get up and explain
Yeah.
how it's gonna work.
Why that's gonna work.
If Chris is gonna have 5 cars running, I'm gonna make it mandatory rule, he has to run the 6.
Guys, you guys, you do your racing, you always got somebody with you to help you.
Yeah.
You know, you got guys that's gonna help you change your tires, they're gonna stage you and do all that stuff. Now, these guys come to you guys and they really enjoy what you're doing. This is a chance for your guys to come as a team, 5 people. 1 sits in the outhouse, 4 push. While you guys are doing between classes and stuff like that, we're gonna throw these little outhouse races in here, just to draw a little attention. And not only that, but you guys, the pit crew, so to speak, they got a chance to win $100 each race. And at the end of the year, they can win $1,000 by pushing these outhouses 100 feet.
Which is not as hard
We probably do
as
that,
it
Chris.
seems, okay?
I know I'm thinking.
We'll have the whole.
I don't learn 600 people. We
No,
don't
I ain't no 600.
Both of our outhouses are identical. They're exactly the same.
One of them got better
When you
wheels.
set them up, drop the flag, off you go. So we'll have those at the testing tune, that way you can kind of get familiar with them and how they work. But it's up to you guys, the teams, to get your group together. It's a good time for you to do a sponsorship. We're here with the Christmas in July, so we wear all of our t-shirts. So it lets you guys just enjoy a day out besides just busting their butt for you guys,
I'm gonna put little man in my house.
If you can, this is gonna be a lot of fun. I think that, again, the $25 that we make off the team, that money will go to the Shriners Hospital Lexington. And then, of course, then you guys will make $100 each race. And you just give these guys an opportunity to come and be part of something that can't afford the cars and the stuff that you guys do. The guys that you bring in, or anybody, you know, if they want to get a 5-man team together, we're going to do one alternate. That way you have 5 guys, and then the next race you go to, if something happens, one guy can't come, then you got alternate. And we'll do the tags just like you're going to be team number 1, and we'll be doing it all just like you guys do. It'll be a point system, and Huggy's still working on a point system. I think it's 5 points.
It'll be the same as cars.
Same as the cars.
Be 5 points when they show up. Race
So we'll be
first
doing,
round, be 1 point, and then
second
the end
race.
of the day.
But we'll have the outhouses there, that way you guys can look at them. Look here, if you're gonna do Hillbilly arm drops, you gotta have an outhouse. I mean, that's just plain. I mean, if you're gonna make this thing right, you gotta have an outhouse and Hillbilly arm drops. So we're gonna have the 2 outhouses.
But you can't use them outhouses.
Pardon?
We don't want to be using them.
No,
I was real
These
smart
jokers all
because
have outpoints down there wheeling.
So you gotta put 1 man in and 4 men pushing.
you know, if you saw the video, I guess it showed it, did it?
Yeah.
One person sits in, I've got a
It's on
commode seat there,
Facebook.
you sit inside, and then you're up to mercy of the other 4 people to take care of it.
But we had a company donate the $100 per race, that's $700. And then we got a company at the end of the year, when we give out the points money down here, whoever got the most points will get $1,000. Whatever team, and I challenge anybody to match that, to donate to Hillbilly Christmas in July if they want.
Guys, it's all fun, this,
So that's what it's all.
I mean, if you get a group together, you got 5 people, and they kind of just throw on the outfit just for this one race, and they have fun, I'm telling you, it'll add something to the race.
Because, you know, they come out there and help us,
5 men
kind of
in
pack
one
and
small
help.
cars.
No, that's the only way they get out of it.
I got a question on something else, where Hillbilly, Hillbilly Days will be coming up. You all thought about doing anything up there to draw attention to what's gonna be going on, that somebody could bring their cars up there one day and
I
get
don't
together?
know what Andy's got, or if he can, cause I'll tell you something, but that thing about full Hillbilly Days.
Hillbilly Days, unfortunately, this year, they are gonna be doing a car show. The Hillbilly Christmas in July, the Hillbilly
We're gonna have banners.
does a car show. The track for us is gonna be,
Oh, absolutely, yeah, I was just talking about somewhere else that you could get.
Well, I can tell you right now, about everybody knows Stephen Jensen's got the dyno shop in over Pikeville, right? He's doing a dyno day
The weekend
the
before.
weekend of the Hillbilly Days. And if you want to get me some literature, information for it, we can display it up there, and that, it's gonna be all gearheads coming up there. And when the last dyno day he had, there was over 300 people came up and watched.
What's the date?
I'll get it for you for sure. I talked to Stephen last night, but he said it's the
The
Saturday of Hillbilly Days.
Yeah.
okay.
So one of them said they were in the meeting.
And we can get,
This is the Hillbilly Days flyer.
I mean, we had, they took the guys that said they wanted to come to the meeting, but they never did come.
Okay, I'll get you some stuff in there.
We
and that way
invited,
we can promote it, you know what I mean? Because there'll be a bunch of people out of town coming in and they don't even know nothing about
But
it.
even in the parade, Rick, that's a good idea, the banner goes to the parade or something.
I think they were handing something
Yeah,
to talk
yeah.
about.
Yeah. Right there.
Because I'll get a big banner made, the drag races.
I mean, because if you move these too far,
Saturday's April
you're gonna be
23rd.
here, if you're moving too far this way,
They
you're
want
gonna be
it
here.
slow, we can, man, we drive faster to it. It's slower to get hot.
I'm like Chris, at the shade area, every racer's gonna push it to
Exactly.
to that darkest shade of gray.
They are,
And I've done the same thing.
That's
Right. You gotta use every advantage you get.
The issue I'm
Drag
having
race,
with this is, I'm thinking about it as a racer and not as a board member. If I'm not here at this meeting, and I'm out of state, and I'm thinking about coming to this race, and the only thing I have to go by is this.
You're gonna think.
I didn't hear what was said, and I didn't know that if I bring a car, they'll overlook this right here in drag radio class. Then I'm gonna think, so my car don't have to be stock and street tire, but it does in drag radio. That don't make sense to me.
You're gonna have to edit them. It's gonna
I
have to
think
edit.
they're gonna respect us more if we just say, hey, wait a minute, you know, we goofed up, this should be here, we fix it online, we do it the right way, and we show everybody this is where it needs to be, here's the rules, we're humans, we made a mistake. I mean, it's just, because this, in all honesty, I mean, it's, if I'm looking at this, if I'm building my car, and I'm looking at this don't make sense to me. As a racer, as a mechanic, as anything that I've ever done with a car, this don't make sense. In them two classes. Then just them two sentences need to just be moved. We don't have to change the whole rules, just move that sentence. Because you can't ask them to build a, and I think a lot of racers that are away from here aren't gonna show up because of that right there. Because they don't know what's being said.
That's why I'm
In
here.
the-
That's why I called in to work,
Right.
taking half a night of work off, because I'm in the process of building her car.
And I understand.
In the
I
process
did the
working on
same
my
thing,
car.
because when I read those, I
She
said,
beats you,
whoa.
I don't want her no whining.
Hey, I'm building her car, so you think I'm gonna make it?
Hey, that ain't always in the car.
Well,
What about if you red light? You jump a start.
that's my own fault.
But you know, that's just my opinion. I'm just one vote, but I mean, you know.
I think it needs to be clarified. Now, to what extent we do it, you know, that.
I don't think
that's
it's,
a
I don't think a
$64
drag
price.
radio car needs to be street legal.
Me neither.
You know, I think it needs to be stock. Yes, stock frame rails, but I don't think it needs to be street legal.
Well,
Drag radio.
Makes common sense.
Yes.
A street tire car, yeah, headlight, taillight, that's anything.
That's even in your outlaw.
Outlaw even requires a headlight and a taillight.
Well, one working headlight, taillight.
We used to put
My
ours in
God,
Congress,
work that
so we
time,
didn't have headlights. But, you know, it's just,
There was another question too about Lexan window in drag radio, too. Somebody mentioned about Lexan window.
Well, I can tell you what the rule is every race I race at. Lexan windows in the street tire drag radio classes are not allowed unless it's like an S10 like his, unless the roll cage is going through the window. That's about the only time.
now that, I
But
do
that's the
agree.
rear.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
rear.
but that's,
Yeah.
Now, I do agree with the rule that the windows need to work. You know, in drag radio class, you got Lexan windows, usually they ain't gonna roll up and down, they're fixed, so they need to roll
Well,
up
he's
and down.
talking about the pickup where they come out.
Right, where they come through the back glass, I mean.
I think we made that rule about the door handles and door windows having to work up front, I think. I mean, you talked about that. I think maybe you've been on that conversation. But, I mean, it's just, it's not that the rules are bad.
No,
I just think
it's just that one sentence needs to be
interpreted, I think, is my opinion on it. Now, we ain't gonna change the rules, but do we need to reword it for people to understand it, that it's not here at this meeting?
I think you do.
I do.
And I think they're a little vague.
I
For
think
the simple
there's
reason.
There's a lot of gray area in it,
For
but
the simple reason, like on drag race.
we know what we was meaning by it.
I know, but you can take, I know people for certain
I
will
know.
show up and take those drag race rules. And
Well, yeah.
if you don't specifically list something on there, they're gonna say, well, you didn't say that, so.
I know that, I know that. for a
Oh,
fact.
it'll be a heck of a.
And the thing, right here is a $64 question, and we just put all the rules to the side. If they show up at Combs and we start arguing about these rules, we got 200 cars sitting there.
You can't do that.
We ain't gonna
have time to do it.
That's why I let me do the tech, and
So,
I'll get them through there.
I mean, I'm just theoretically thinking, cause in my mind, the only thing we got against us down here in Pipeline anywhere is time.
If you
And
let me
time
do the
is
tech, it won't take us
something
long.
that we got to deal with. So, we gotta make it as fast and simple possible, whatever.
Drag race,
And-
I won't.
And I'll tell you something on the rules, it takes him, and me to change the rules. We can't change them on our own, that's one thing that we did do when we set this up. Because I think it's a joint venture.
It is.
And we have to get Tim Baldridge on the phone involved in that too. So it takes 5 of us to change anything on this rule. But we're just talking after the meeting, if they want to stay and we want to discuss it.
That's just my opinion. I mean,
Then
like I said, I'm
that's
just
what
one
will happen, because we got another situation here on this all-wheel drive thing. You know, I mean, and here's the deal that we got. We had 5 classes last year before we brought the outlaw class in, because Pipe's insurance wouldn't cover the outlaws. Am I correct? And same with Combs. We didn't have an outlaw class the first race and the first 2 tests and tunes, because they told me that our insurance didn't cover it, which we got to looking, and, you know, that's not a gray area. It's one of them deals, you know. But then when we brought the outlaw class in, when we had the all-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive, we had 2 cars in it. Well, we put them together. Well, Amanda was, I think, in California the rest of the year or whatever, and then Willard was at his races in his patrol mod, so there was no way there for the 4-wheel drive, all-wheel drive anyway, but I think pickup trucks might have come and run in on the last man standing, but I don't think nobody run in the races, did they, 4-wheel drive?
We had some.
We had a few, but they were way outclassed because.
But now we got a situation that they, you know, if you put a drag rail on an all-wheel drive on all 4 tires, can you move up into this class? Or if you put street tires on it, can you run the street tire class? And you all know who we're talking about. So, you know, and virtually, it's a stock car, other than it being all-wheel drive. And so, you know, and we didn't make this rule to put him anywhere, but we made this rule just because it come together when we brought the outlaw back. We put it with 4-wheel drive, so we had just 20. So we had 20 cars to run, because we didn't have them. You know, we had 2, and one was in California, and he was gone, so we just made outlaw class out of it.
I've got 4 Taurus SHO, all-wheel drive car.
But you know, I mean, we can't afford to start another class, number one. So, and anywhere you put them, the all-wheel drive, it's, everybody's going to say, you know, that you can't race against them.
There ain't nothing down there at neither one of these tracks out right now.
They ain't none of them over.
Yeah, before I rode it down there with it. I
That's
ain't never,
fine.
I've been.
Like I said, the only one that's a big disadvantage in the outlaw class is the 4-wheel drive.
Yep.
The trucks, the big heavy trucks.
Oh, yeah.
If they ain't got a full-blown drag truck, they've got prayer in that class.
Well, you know, 4-wheel drive truck might do some good, that gray one or brown one. He
That's what I'm
pretty
talking
good.
about, full-blown.
300 footer, but you know,
Yeah.
660 foot, he just ain't got it.
Run out of steam.
But that's another situation that we've come up on it. We've got to meet to talk about. You know, that's for discussing between the 5 of
What about
us.
the guy at I-64 was on, he want no say in the classes or anything?
Well, if any of this is changed, he has to be in the.
But what I'm saying is, I'd say most of his racers are chassis stuff, you know, he's a bracket track.
Well,
But his normal racing will.
That's what I'm saying.
but,
Don't he want no, ain't he gonna have nobody
He
run?
wanted to, but I can't run them 2 chassis.
well,
Yeah,
we're
they-
talking, but see, when we go down there, we're gonna race down there, cause they're a little bit set up, a little better set
So
up.
we're gonna race tonight, they're bracket racing, right?
No, well, you're gonna race on the Saturday, I assume, during the day.
Yeah,
And he'll probably put a race in between our rounds, yeah.
well, so we can
Put
break
some
the
classes
races.
for them.
Yeah, but we're gonna get our staged classes 100 through
Well, I just figured
500.
he'd want something.
Then we're gonna run
Go
through,
for him.
then whatever he's got running, he'll run them through, then we'll restage ours. We'll county be right in his racing, but our races will be, and that's where we'll probably get more racers down there that probably will never come up here, but we have to count them that day in the point system.
What was the biggest question from some of the guys on the drag radials on the tires?
Well, I've got a question. That's what, I guess, you know, on the drag tire, straight motor, or power out, or whichever. Originally in the rules, it said no bi-supply tires. But there was a post, and I even printed it, back on middle of November, actually November the 11th. Somebody put, after researching and reviewing the rules for the tires, any DOT-approved tire can run as long as they meet all other criteria for that class.
You got what posted on ours, I don't think.
Well, right there's, I printed it
Yeah,
right
but
off.
now was that posted on the championship races?
This was on Pikeville City Tourism.
Yeah, but what dates on?
Well, it's back in November,
Yeah.
but
See, I think we did do the bi-supply on the street stock because of what 74 or prior come out with stock bicycle lines on.
Well, a lot of our independent rear suspension cars, that's what they recommend to absorb the shock, not break axles. Like
The thing that gets me with it, I mean,
So
we
it,
don't wanna see nobody wreck.
yeah, but
and-
no bicycle riders took off the street.
Okay, well, I'm interested in the drag tire. I know, last year people were talking about
Drag
calling it a drag radial,
Yeah.
but then of course it says, no bicycle. But I ran in some of the events that allowed me to run that tire. I've got a bicycle tire that's street legal. I mean, I can drive it up and down the highway, and if I get pulled over by a state police officer that's got a DOT stamp on the side of it, said it's legal.
Well, that's what the drag radial class is about.
But it's not a radial, it's a bicycle tire.
I know it, but that's.
It's got three
right.
grooves, it's got three grooves up and down. I'm trying to figure out
You're
where.
running QuickTime Pro?
Yeah, it's QuickTime Pro. I'm trying to figure out where I
You
fit
see, the
in.
rules state DOT drag radial tires.
Okay, but it's not, like I say, it's not a radial. See, the rules are as clear as mud on that. I mean, it's worded wrong.
Does your tire say drag radial? What does it say on the side of it? Does it say drag?
I'm not sure what it says. I know it's got a DOT stamp in it.
Well, that's just like the,
If I'm not badly mistaken, but I got in that same issue last year. If I'm not badly mistaken, your tire is like the ET Pro, but they're bicycle tires.
That's what I'm saying.
So they wasn't allowed to run that tire in with the drag rail, because the drag rail had to be a drag radial.
Right.
well, I ran
See,
my
that's where a
AT
lot of
Pros
people
all
lose
year,
is a lot of that.
and my AT Pro said, has a DOT stamp, but it says not for highway use.
It don't matter.
It don't have to be for
All
highway
they say
use.
drag radial.
I say, all they
See,
say,
that's the reason why we took
DOT
out that.
That's
clause.
it. That's the easiest way to do it. If it's
That's what
DOT
it is.
approved, let it run. And that
it's
way, if somebody
DOT
comes up,
drag radial,
You're
it can
good.
run.
okay.
But it has to say that.
Well, I think Les told me down there at the,
So if it's a DOT approved tire,
If it's DOT drag radial, you can run a drag radial class.
so if I'm running a Hoosier QuickTime Pro, which is a DOT tire, I'm
It says
good.
DOT tire drag radial. It has to be a drag radial.
now what was the deal with Bradley on his pipe?
Bradley had two tires. He had a drag
He had a
radial,
quick time tar.
Yeah,
but it was a bicycle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Even though it had drag
You
radial
can
on
run
it,
an outlaw in
it
that,
was a bicycle tire.
and he didn't want to run an outlaw, so he took the other.
So he had the extra set wheels, so he just switched his tires.
We just
out.
switched the
Put
went to the outlaw.
put the
That's what
radial-
I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I don't wanna run in the outlaw class. My truck is street legal.
Oh, you don't
Makes
make
a-
no difference on that, then you're
It
good.
makes a lot of power. I'm not really wanting to
Yeah,
put
if
a
it's
tire.
bicycle, it has to
I mean,
say
this is an unprepped
drag
surface for the most part.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't
you're
wanna put a
right.
small tire. This truck makes a lot of power. I don't wanna hurt myself. I don't wanna tear up a very expensive truck that I've worked for 20 years on building. I mean, that's,
Now,
I build it for around a certain tire.
The rules have to state DOT drag radial. That's what the rules state.
But not an outlaw, he can run any tar.
Outlaw can run anything.
Yeah, an outlaw, he can run anything.
Okay, the tire I'm running is a Hoosier QuickTime Pro.
And you're gonna run outlaw.
No,
Right?
he's wanting to
I
drag
want to
it.
run a drag
If
tire.
it don't say
I
drag
say it
radial,
says
you can't
DOT,
run
let
a
him
drag
run.
radial class.
So I'm asking, does it say drag radial on it?
No, Hoosier QuickTime Pro.
No, Hoosier QuickTime Pro or ET Streets, they don't say that on
No.
there. But they say they've got a
They're
DOT
DOT
rating.
approved, but they're not a drag radial. They're
So-
bicycle.
So you're saying in order for me to run that class,
In order to run that tire, you have to run that one.
You do it
it's
two
four-wheel
ways.
drive
So
car.
if you wanna run the drag radio there, what they're telling you is buy you new set tires. It's pretty much.
Yeah, either run with the outlaw class or put a smaller tire on it and take a chance to get
Well,
hurt.
we got one car in the outlaw class, and he's wanting to move into the drag radial class. So I mean.
It'd be
we can't
easier to say if it's a
dissect these rules.
DOT tire, let them run it.
Well, that would disallowed the drag radial class then.
Your drag radio class. is
Well,
gonna be
the thing about it, when you're coming to any sort of racing event, put the best tire that you can put on it to get traction, especially on an unprepped surface. I mean, it's safer. I personally don't want to put a smaller, I run a truck first of all,
Yeah.
and they only make a drag radial so big. My truck comes stocked with a 30-inch tall tire, 275 millimeters wide. Well, they only make a drag radial in a 315/60, which is about 30 millimeters wider and the same height.
He's got some wide drag radials.
But here's what I'm saying though, you take a Mustang that come with a 225/60 tire, it's about this big. You have the option of going that big and about 2 inches taller. I don't have that because I'm utilizing a full-size truck at about 1,000-pound weight disadvantage to Chris, Rick, and any of these other guys.
Well, now see, they let me run the drag radio one class last year, but now I got a set of ET streets. Les said if it says DOT approved, you can run it. That's what Les said last year.
Well, that's before we brought that
That was before the city.
And I'm even, you know, I drive my truck to Pikeville. I drive it to that event on those tires.
I know you try, I know truck,
I'll say
I've seen you run this line.
We're not telling you can't run the tire. We're just telling you can't run the tire in that class. I mean, it's.
So that'll, if I run it, I'll have to be an outlaw.
An outlaw, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
basically.
because the reason why I was saying that, because we have stressed this drag radial DOT approved, and we even took out if it says not for highway use on wet pavement. As long as it says DOT and it says drag radial on it, it'll run the.
But it has to say drag radial. And this is why. The reason why.
What about a radial slick? I mean,
The reason why is we have to make it fair for everybody, like,
That's right. I
you
mean,
know,
I'm trying to
you
make
take,
the rules for
you take
everybody.
somebody, some young kid that tap off out of a new car and he puts drag radials on the back of it. We want him to be just as competitive as you. Now, you take your truck and you put it next to that car, he ain't got a chance. You take your truck with a set of drag radials on it, he's got a chance, because you're gonna have to pedal your truck, power it back, or do something to it to make it hook on them tires. You know, that's basically why we have to do what we're doing with these rules. I mean, we ain't gonna be able to make everybody happy, and that's just the way it is.
but that same car could go buy the same tire that I'm running.
And then he would
After
be in
an
a
hour,
different, he'd be in the outlaw class right with you. It doesn't, I mean, I could go buy a brand new Corvette out here at Top.
And I'm
Put
gonna tell
them
you
tires
something right
on it,
now,
run an
boy,
outlaw
I watched them run down there last year, and the drag radials outrun outlaws every time.
Oh, you ain't no doubt.
So I don't know why.
I bet you
anybody
might
don't
want to go
with the
run
outlaw
60
class.
mile an hour.
Well, like I say, they only make a drag radial so big.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm-
That's my, see, I got a back that car.
If
So I didn't get a
Stock frame.
radio. That's why. Which I just
Your
ran
tire,
out.
correct me if I'm wrong, but your tire basically is a slick with 3 grooves in it, right?
Correct, but it's DOT approved.
Correct. But,
And I actually, I keep those tires on it, and I drive to the.
and the reason why it's 5-splice, because it's slick, and they say it's DOT approved, because it's got 3 grooves.
Because it's got the groove in it.
So it's basically a slick.
I say you
And
change
that's,
that
and
rule.
that's another reason why we made that rule.
I
Because
say
of
you change
those
that
tires.
rule.
You
If it
know,
says DOT,
it
let
ain't
them run
wants
it.
to stop everybody from buying.
I suggest we just throw the rules away.
That's me, I got
Everybody show up and
And
run.
let's hold the race down starting on Monday. And whoever's the licensed down, we just give them $25.
We had a good time at that
What is
last
that?
race we had. You know,
I'd like an idea to get put in with a $80,000 all-wheel drive.
I didn't hear a thing about that last race about
Well, he's
all
not
the cars or.
He wants to go to drag radio class.
Yeah.
So, now what you gonna do if we move him up there? You're gonna be mad.
Trust me, that truck will run in
Yeah.
outlaw class.
I mean, it's just one of them things that we got 5 classes.
But it needs to be his option to run, whatever class he wants to run.
In
is what
each
I'm
class.
saying.
And
That's my opinion.
I think these rules are pretty decent for just the old
Well, I got.
run the market drag racing that we're trying to do.
Your
Now,
truck or Chris's Mustang, either one can run in any class there.
Yeah.
The
And
thing
make it
about it is, we need to do it this year, and we're gonna make mistakes. But hopefully we can learn from them and
Make
make
it
it
better
better
next
for next year. And hopefully if we get enough money, we'll make 6
Supposed
classes.
to be making a 315 ET Pro.
But you know,
And another,
there's no way we can keep changing these rules every time somebody
one
wants.
thing I'll tell you about is Pikeville. There's a lot of that hooking that's gonna go away. Because they're in the process now of putting a concrete pad to launch off of.
Well, then it'll change again.
I've got a couple more questions
Are
on
they
some
gonna
other
turn it,
issues.
go the other
Yeah,
way?
it will be
All right,
running.
listen, before we get any further along, I want to address a couple different things before everybody takes off. Getting back to the pits. I explained to you in Pikeville, if you're in a street class, you have to drive your car in. You will not be allowed to take any other vehicles in. Tell all your buddies that, everybody. because of room, not because we're mad or not because we're not gonna
It's
let
pretty
you in
far
there.
back down there.
Yeah.
At Combs Airport, if you're coming from Georgia and you bring your streetcar up here, you're gonna tire that, I expect you to bring it on a trailer, but you can't bring it through the track. Unload it down the road somewhere, drive it in, you can drive your truck and your trailer in behind it, cause we got room to put you at Combs, same as I-64. But you have to drive the car through, cause you're gonna get a sticker. When you come to that gate, that man right there is gonna put a sticker on your car. And if it's one color, you're gonna be in this class. If it's another color, you're gonna go in another class. So tell everybody to look for that now.
Now, do you have the availability of having a designated area for like that? For instance, somebody comes from Georgia to Pikeville, they trailer their car, there's no parking
Well,
on
I know,
the
but listen, I think he's working on getting that parking garage. You know, just you start down the main street.
It depends on the size trailer. They're gonna do the track with a guardrail. You'll be 50 foot wide up through there, starting with the theater, coming back towards the jail.
Oh, we're gonna race the opposite direction this time?
You will not go under the jail now. They've stopped that. So you're gonna have to go up to the expo center, out on the main street, back down Main Street, back down over the hill into the pit. Anybody with a big enough truck and trailer, the big ones is gonna have to be in there parked first, lined up as, I mean, we're gonna have to crowd them up the most part.
Like, I mean, you
The
know how big
smaller
my
trucks
truck
and the
is.
trailer, which there's Andy, he can explain it more to you than I can. But, then the smaller trucks and trailers we have out on the street, I don't know what all the parking lots that Andy's working at using now. It may be the parking garage, maybe Big Sandy's parking for overflow or what, you can.
But I think he's gonna have you somewhere, am I right, pipe with our street cars that says come from Florida, Georgia, Alabama, that drag them up on the trailer, cause naturally if they tear them up, you gotta have somebody get them back home. But they're
They
gonna
make
have,
those trucks up here too.
I know it, but what I'm trying to say, if they bring them on a trailer, they unload them, they drive them in like they're supposed to.
Are you gonna have a place?
They got room somewhere to put their car and the trailer out of the way.
Not necessarily inside the pits, but somewhere fairly close.
In town.
I'm not saying this to be smart, but the reason I'm saying they have to drive them in is because I don't have room.
Gotcha.
That's what
So,
we're getting at,
I mean,
Andy,
that's,
is have somewhere in a parking garage.
but that's not
somewhere
my
around.
responsibility to worry about their trucks. That's why they need
What
to
I'm
drive
getting
them.
at is if they do, will you have somewhere for them to go park?
I won't.
I mean, unless they just find themselves a parking
They
place.
have, yeah, because you gotta remember, we also have, at the same time, we have Muscle on Main.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That
That's
is
our
gonna take up
everywhere.
everything in town, plus, I just took over the college parking spots down in Big Sandy, so we're gonna be putting overflow cars down there. There is no place in town. And that is the only, I mean, it's unfortunate, I wish I had more room, but
Well, but that's what we're saying, I mean, if
dealing
they're
with.
parked
I mean, I've
down at
been there.
Hardee's or wherever. they
I'm not
got
gonna be
places.
responsible by telling somebody they can go park their truck somewhere and then get broke into or stolen or
Well, yeah,
whatever.
but they just have to find somewhere around town.
Shopping center over Sears would be a pretty good place.
You know, you have to find somewhere to park it.
Or up behind.
Yeah, what is that,
Landmark,
Weddington
something up there,
Plaza?
too,
County.
But that's waiting
So
for.
you go right down there at the,
Oh,
with that new service station, go right across the bridge. I mean, it's a mile and a half.
Well, they can ride back in their streetcar.
Even up behind
That's the
Landmark.
purpose
Right,
of it.
exactly.
But yeah, somebody coming away from here, I can understand them bringing in on it. Because if they break it, who wants to pay a toll bill going back to Georgia, you know?
Same
But
as
you-
964 from here, you know, who wants to break down down there?
But that was the difference in the pit rules, that pipe and the pit rules.
And I can see where he's coming from. I mean,
Yeah.
there is very, very little
It's
room.
just because of space.
And that's like me, my trailer's 36 foot long. And then my crew cab dually. How am I gonna be entering this year? Before I come straight down the hill and I can get in.
Same spot.
Same way? Okay.
They just.
And what I'm gonna hopefully do
Just
is,
flip the track, I got you.
I'm trying to get I'm trying to have a map made that we can put on Facebook that'll show everybody, all racers will have to come in through division. We won't, because Huffman will be
We'll
blocked
have
off
one
this year.
too.
There's actually only one way into town.
Oh, yeah.
There's only gonna be one way into that river field, and that's
Up to the
Division
light
Street.
and back around.
By the police station, yeah. Because
Well, I think what you need to do
52 car.
for people out of town like that, work, you know, up there at the red light, as you're going out of town on that little 2-lane road back towards Williamson. You know that little plaza on the right there is a grocery store?
that sounds something. That's-
Would they have a problem with people parking over there?
I really don't know. I wouldn't think so, but
Because, you know, you could have that on a map if you need somewhere to park your vehicle.
That's also how about behind the landmark.
Yeah, there's
That's a big parking right there. That's up on, just up street, up Boulevard there.
There's a small sketch of what we're gonna do, because at our track, like Andy, everybody goes into the pits will pull their vehicle up toward the bank.
Yeah, like,
Because we had a lot of people gets out on the trailers, then somebody pulls in this way, it just blocks the whole shoulder.
Yep.
So last year, I think last couple of races was pretty good at not doing that, so, you know, there's a lot of older, elderly people like to come and sit up on the trailer and watch, and then somebody pulls in blocks it. So we're just gonna ask everybody that knows up toward the bank,
towards the highway.
toward the highway, and then on the low end where the airplane is, we ask everybody to pull in straight forward. That way everybody's at the back of their vehicle and everybody can see that way and get in and out, in and out, so. And then, you know, of course, we keep the exit in case you need to leave, you can zip out, but when you come back, you have to come back around the other way, because you can't come in that way. You can go out that way, but you can't come in that way.
Now, they wanna have Muscle on Main, is it gonna be cleared out by the time the race will start? When you have to
Muscle
loop?
Main is gonna be moved this year to the other end of town up to the park.
Whereabouts now?
It'll be from the expo center up by the park, up that way, and across in front of the expo center where they're gonna shut the streets down at Muscle Main.
Okay, so Main Street won't be shut down then?
yes, it will.
From the expo center back, see, Main Street will be your return road back to the drag.
That's what I'm saying, will it be cleared out by the time we
They
get
won't be
ready?
anything parked there.
There won't be anything like it, most gonna have to get on that one.
Well, it'll come all the way down. You're gonna have people there
Yeah.
around. I'm gonna actually have
By the time we start racing,
it'll be the same time, exactly the same time, all day long. The Muscle on Main won't end until about 6 in the evening.
after we're getting ready to start, what, 2, 1?
We're gonna try to start at 1 so that we can be done about the same time.
See, he cannot race on Sunday up there. See, that's an option I've got at Combs, if we get rained out or run into darkness. We'll have to come in, we'll have to run them down to the last 8, 10, whatever, and then Sunday. But he
Now, I can
don't
run
have that
night,
option.
I can
But
run
he can
Saturday
run
night
on
as
that
late
night.
as
Unless you need to.
Which we can't, it gets dark, we're done, because I will not take a chance on somebody getting hurt. And that dew gets on that runway down, it's like ice. And then you get it on the grass, it's that much worse.
I've got a couple questions about
Okay, go
some
ahead.
racing. The biggest issue I think we had last year at Combs, and it's not so much an issue at Pikeville, I don't think it will be an issue at I-64, is staging lanes. Everybody getting in one lane. You know, how are you gonna handle that this year?
Well, once you give me that board, I'll just show them.
Yeah, they got that figured out. They
I
knew
think we
that.
got that, and I think we're gonna follow suit at Pikeville, basically, the,
Yeah, but
you know, some.
depending on what you get ready to say, Barry had a good idea with what they do in NHRA or whatever. With the deck cards,
Stand right here and go.
made a lot of sense to me.
That's what I was gonna suggest.
But I'll let
What Andy's talking about, what I was thinking about, is I'm thinking back me as a drag racer. You're gonna put so many cars down the lane, so many down the other lane. Which car is gonna be which lane, who's gonna have lane choice?
Well, I think up to a certain point, it should be how you pull in the lanes.
Yeah, I
They
think
gonna
that.
make
When
two lanes.
it's, huh?
2 lanes.
I understand. If they got 15 here and 15 people in the right lane, 15 people in the left lane, and then they start stacking up in one lane after that, I think those 15 should run how they are.
Exactly.
But when it gets to that point, there needs to be some way to decide rather than just somebody saying, you here, you here.
Yeah.
Well, now here's what we're gonna do at Combs.
Okay,
When we're gonna run these classes as they are on this paper.
gotcha.
and we're not gonna run them through one time, all of them. Okay? And when you stage, say there's 18 cars in the street, like on the first one. When the first 9 line up, I'm gonna drop a cone behind it. And that lane's closed. Everybody else has to get over here. Is that understood? When you go down here, I'm gonna have this fence stopped. You gotta go all the way to the end of the airport, and it's gonna be blocked down there until your class is ready. So they're not clogging this up. Okay, we're gonna write your number down when you come through this gate, the scorekeepers are. Until we get down to the last 8 or 4 or 6 or whatever. Then we're gonna draw cards to see who you race.
And what lane you get in?
Well, we can flip quarters at that point and draw cards for
It does. Can you hear him out a second?
Yeah.
What his
What
idea was?
I was thinking about is just like Big Block men was talking about, there's one lane of cones that everybody wants.
The right lane is absolutely horrible. I mean, it
Well,
sucks.
this would cure that problem, because I'll tell you something, if
Yeah,
we start
sorta
drawing
yes and no.
cards, if we start drawing cards or picking numbers, before we get down to like 6 or 7 or 5 or 4, we'll be there all night long.
Well, not if you do
Now,
it the
if
way
you do it
he
the way I'm talking about, it takes you about 5 seconds to match cards up. You can match them up a lot quicker than you run.
Same deal.
Red, black, red's right lane, black's left lane, and higher number gets lane.
Yeah, but who's gonna gather up all the drivers to draw in cards?
You don't say,
don't.
oh,
Let 'em line up.
Cards.
You show 'em.
Let me, I'll just use my phone for a deck of cards. So you got both station
got
lanes
both
right there.
lanes.
And say, just say I'm a official to track. I'll cut a card, show it to you and the driver, and I'll look at it. If it's black, like Chris said, black's one lane, red's another lane. You put them back down, draw another card. If it's a red card, the cards straight across from each other runs, high card gets lane choice. Well, them cards already matched. You go back to the next two. These fellas
Well,
ain't
that comes out of place
four.
where it was one line. You take the cars, the
Well,
next
it
two cars.
could, but you're looking at time.
Yeah, but there's really no time to it. so
You do that while everybody's running. You go back, say for instance, there's 5 cars in this lane and 15 cars in this lane, okay? These first 5 cars are already set up. They're in their lane, they're ready to go. You run in. You walk back until it starts stacking up. And say,
Well, the way
me and
he's
him's in
talking-
front of each other.
The way he's holding that,
Doing everybody.
It's like
Talk about the black
cards
Don't matter.
come up.
line them up, call everybody in
It's
stage lanes, they get into 2 lanes, however they want to do it, then you just say, this like this like this, they go that way. That's,
Say you draw
And
two.
then you start crossing
might be
lanes, then what are you
switching.
gonna do?
Well, here's how they do it at a lot of the races, just like he's talking about. You got your 2 lines,
Yep.
okay? The cards may draw out, you don't run the guy beside you.
Nope.
You might run the guy behind you.
yeah,
It's a red, you draw, you have your next card, you flip the first card over. For you, me and you, red. That means you run, if you say right lane's red, left lane's black. That first card's red. So you're running the car behind you. And then you flip another card up, you got the number on that card, say it's a 7. The next card up is a 10. The guy behind you gets lane choice. And you gotta go to wherever lane. You got them cars take off running.
Let me tell you
You go
something.
right on that, they're doing everybody.
That's fine, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if we run it and it don't work, I'll stop it.
What
I'll
you're
tell you what you
fine.
wanna do. If you don't get these run in here, there's no way we're running 150 cars.
I've even got a better idea to stop that problem. At the beginning of the day, when you first start doing test and tuning, you let somebody spray track prep on both lanes, 10 feet or 15 feet, make them even, and they'll stay even the rest of the
That
day.
ain't gonna happen. Track prep, get caught track prep and it comes you out for the year, period.
Airport won't last.
Right now, at Combs, you can go down and look for yourself, where they track prep, they'll let them track prep at last time, nothing but gravels, blacktop gone.
Really?
That's our problem for that.
It's just that right lane is so
Yeah, it is.
bad.
You're big.
I know that, boy, but let me tell you something. You know, I mean, the car deal may work, but the whole opposition of this is I wanna get these cars lined up, so when we start racing, we don't quit.
here's the deal,
till the whole thing's
the way
done.
he explained it to me with this
you know.
If you do the 15 cars or the 9 cars and then put a cone, you still gonna have that issue because these guys are smart enough to know.
I want that right lane.
They're either gonna get there fast
Give it to me,
or they're not gonna
run
get
me
there
down
fast.
that right lane
Because they're
3
waiting
times.
Well, if you do that, you're gonna have to stop them up here before the stage.
No,
Hey, you rode my way into the state.
Because if you get up here and start coming around, you're gonna have the same
you
problem.
won't do it until they go through.
If that card, if you do that card thing, it's no time consuming. Everybody's in their car, strapped in, ready to
Who's
go.
gonna stand up here and keep these people?
Buddy, you're not gonna card everybody, right? You just gonna, let's
They
just
won't
say
card
there's,
everybody, so, I mean, you're just.
We got 2 lanes of cars.
We don't got that many bodies.
I say you start carding after they're, like, when they start stacking up,
that's
in
what
one lane.
I'm saying you need to start
Yeah, you get
carding when you
10
get down
cars in the right
to
lane, 15
18 or something.
What he's talking about is if you feel, say you got 20 cars, put 10 and, you know, and or over 20 cars, so you roll in 10 on each side. Well, if them guys wants the bad lane, they went and got intercept. And then
They run that line.
everybody else may get in one line.
That's when you start carding. When there's not 2 cars beside each other, like if there's 5 cars in this lane and 15 in this lane, you take these first 5 cars, you let them run how the rest. Then when you get to that 6th race and everybody's at one line, that's when you start doing the cards.
Well,
And you start pointing.
between that,
and
going back
get
here, 8, dropping the cone. They
Yeah, you
all
can do
have-
that.
They all have to go over at that point.
Go home and.
anybody that races at Golden Airport has got any kind of power will not take
Same thing with the cars,
about yours.
you know, until you get down to a
Well, I
certain
mean, you
number.
do the cards, it's luck of the draw. It ain't somebody telling you, you've got to run that lane.
Well, I mean, I agree with that.
All I was done was trying to get out.
So what you're gonna do with,
Letting
what
the
you're gonna
drivers-
do with what you're saying, you're gonna cause chaos when they call them cars to the lanes, they're gonna be freaking flying up there, not in that last
Well,
lane. I'm telling
If
you,
you do the car, if you do the car, then he'll have to be stopped up here.
Yeah,
I don't think.
you let
Before they're
everything,
lined up,
you line them all
because you get
up.
all of them up here, and this car's gonna be trying to go over here, and this car's gonna try to go
That's why
around
you
this
just
one.
line them up and you don't tell them where to go until you get through, because you're gonna stand here.
You let them guys start racing, and once they start stacking up, you go back, that's when the guy, when they start the first race, that's when he takes that deck of cards back there.
So here's what we.
You're all lined up, you just do it.
Here's what we do.
Pull the card up, let them see it. Pull the next one up, let's see it. If you go over there, point him, he goes over there, and he's in line.
Your staging lanes are gonna be red lane, black lane.
Yep.
Okay, your staging lane is red lane, black lane. So if you pull up the first card that's black, then this guy goes,
To
he
the black
takes his
lane.
number, he pulls through the
Yeah.
gate. You pull the next card, if it's a black card, then the car on this guy behind him goes through. Whoever had the highest card gets the lane choice. So from where your gate is to where your burn body is, before they hit the burn box, they know where they're going.
All right, this guy here gets over here, but he's got lane choice, and then he wants back over here, what are you gonna do?
You don't put him there. He stays where he's at, and the guy behind him, he's racing.
It doesn't matter at that point. You're only letting 2 cars go through the gate at one time. So when they go into the burn box, they know where they're gonna, which.
You
lane
don't
they're
do
gonna-
this, you don't do this when they're up there getting ready to go to the fenced-in area. You do this, you let everybody, you call the lane, you call the class, you let everybody line up where they want. If you've got 5 cars in that right lane and 15 in that left lane, them first 5 cars, they're gonna race the car beside them, and there ain't no lane choice needed to be. This plays into effect the cars behind that where they're stacked up in one lane. You have your guy, when they start the first race, you have your guy go back through there, because you go lane to lane from back through there. You have your guy start drawing the cards. The first guy, you draw the card. You know, the second guy, you draw the card. You know, the first guy got the card, it's
You got
black.
5 cars over here, and 15 over here.
Exactly.
And then you let the first 5 race.
You start, and
Then
then
you start these over here. What's the difference between drawing cards and putting a cone in?
I think you draw cards from the beginning for everybody, so it always, it takes anybody out of it, it's all of
you
it.
say as they're coming through.
Well, it
the
makes
gate.
That's what I'm saying. You either have to draw cards to start, to finish, or you have to do something, because you can't start in the middle of the thing.
Well,
Boy,
it's
I'm
the
telling
thing
you,
for if
time
somebody wants
is
to
the only
ride
reason why I
lane,
say do it this way, because of time.
It's the same difference.
You know.
It
It
is.
really is, it's not.
And
gonna
it
be no
is the
more
same
difference.
difference, but,
At
you
this
know,
point, it takes a look at
and
the draw.
I think when you get down to the last state, because it don't matter if it's you or whatever, if you're strong enough, right or left lane, you're gonna be there at the end. period.
Not necessarily a child.
It's on that right lane. Right beach.
But whatever we do, we gotta do it start to finish. So either we gotta back up, draw the cards here,
Here's a
they'll
good thing,
stage
here's a good thing.
as we stage.
We could try it at the first test and tune where it doesn't matter.
Well, I'm going to. And then I've got left
When
lane.
the cars are lined up, I can show you more
I
of
got-
that and make more sense.
We're gonna keep score cones, left lane's odd numbers, right lane's even numbers on the score sheets. And the reason why that is if this races and then say the right lane wins, it's an even number, the left lane's odd number. If he says the right lane jumped, then she knows what number won. The odd, the left. So she knows what number it is. That's the reason why I'm going odd and even on the scorekeeper's card. Because if not, we're going to have somebody at the other end of the track getting whatever number it was, because she don't remember or whatever.
Odd and even is easy to do. They're not having to go up there and line up in a lane that you don't want.
Well-
At least you're drawing cards, you
Well,
we
we can do the cards, but we'll have to start before they all line up, and start at one.
Yeah.
We can't wait till send the first five up. Then run it all.
But you do it right at the gate, right where they're lined up.
Most of the time, though,
Well, if you go in here and you start crisscross, I think you're gonna have a problem there. I really do. And I don't
We,
think
me and
we're
Chris
gonna-
did it before when we was over there. We
Not
were
the way you do it, I promise you. It's-
I'm gonna take a
You,
picture of
you
it.
let everybody line up, then you close the lanes. If you ain't in the lanes, last call the lanes. Once the lanes are closed, that's when you do that.
That would work here if we could keep these people out of this area.
Well, you don't do it at that area.
No.
You do it as they're lined up. You go ahead and let the car start running. Your guy goes back to there and lines cars up, gets the car in the right lane and the car in the left lane
Well,
before
what's
it's
gonna
full.
happen if you're back here and he makes you go over, but he didn't make these people go there?
You're drawing cards. You're
You
going
just
back to
said
the
you're gonna
drawing
let the
cards.
first five run, you just.
if they're okay with the right.
Well, yeah, if they get in the right lane, they don't care to run the right lane, and you're saying,
That's the problem.
You gotta do, if you're gonna do it from the one way, you gotta do it the whole way.
That's what I'm saying.
Like where I'm at, my staging lanes is gonna be right next to the.
the reason you do this is because everybody wants that lane. You should be allowed to get what lane you want as long as somebody's beside you. When everybody stacks up in one lane, it's the only reason you even start doing this period. You could do a quarter, you could flip a quarter. Heads is right lane, tails is left lane. I mean,
You
you
know,
can do it any way you
As
want.
long as you got someone other the.
That is for when everybody stacks up in one lane when we're
like
avoiding
at, like at the airport, when you
So
pull
in
in
other words, we're
there,
gonna imply a rule just in case they all stack up.
yes.
But you let everybody know that, and then what's gonna happen? Everybody's gonna get up there and they're gonna get in whatever lane they want, and they're not gonna sit and stack up in one lane.
Same difference, me dropping the cone, they're gonna get this lane.
That's true.
I put them over there. So it's the same difference.
We come up early anyway, don't care.
I mean, I'm just telling you,
Lanes are
if you
gone.
want to draw the cards from lane, I have no problem. But you're gonna have to start back here, and you're gonna line up, now let me finish. These cars is gonna be lined up before we start the first race. Every place here at Combs.
I understand what you're saying, but
Because
you're
once
not,
we start, we're gonna race them through one night.
you're not understanding what I'm saying.
I'm understanding
You let
everything you're saying.
them, you let them line up, and if you don't want to start racing, you go back there and you move people where
Yeah,
you need
but
them.
look
and it's
here,
real
you're not
simple.
understanding me. When I start this class, I don't want this class to be 10 over here and 5 over here. I want to be even so I can line this class up. I can get this class lined up, because I'm not gonna start this class, but every one of these cars are lined
But
up,
see, that's the thing, you're exactly right. You can still do it the way you're talking about, okay?
you know.
But what you do to get them in the lane.
That's what I'm saying, if you want to do that, I got no problem with it.
Once we run them through the
But
gate,
we're gonna start from number 1, and we're gonna line every car up like that. And then once we drop the first arms, we're gonna run the whole race.
So what you're saying is nobody's gonna get lane choice. You're going to pick
No.
what lane they get in. If you start drawing cards,
No,
number one.
no, no, well, that's true. But if you're gonna have that rule implemented, I think you need to implement it first of it, they're gonna have it all. That's my thinking on it. Cause you're gonna get mad if I implement the rule on you and not the first 5.
No, I'm gonna get my ass up there and get what lane I want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but if he draws cards, and you get the
That's my fault for
right thing.
dicking around and getting them back to the lane
Yeah,
where they're
but
gonna be stacked up.
that's what you're saying now. Now, wait a minute. If he draws cards on you and the black card goes in the right lane.
All
what you
these
gonna do?
racers already understand what I'm telling you,
No,
'cause they do it
but
at
you're not
tracks.
listening to what I'm saying.
Card deal.
You're not listening to what I'm saying. If we do the card draw, which I got no problem
But you're saying you want the very first car to be in the car
We
draw.
have to do them all.
with, right, let's do them
You
all.
do any of them, do them all.
Do them all or nothing.
Okay.
That, I mean, that's just fair. I think it's unfair.
That way,
That first
everybody, got
time.
it. Everybody that grows up there got
Because
a
it's
50-50
basically
shot.
almost
That's
like-
what I'm
If you want the right lane and I want the left lane, we just line up beside each other.
Either,
That's fair.
if we're going to use the cards, we're going to do it car one, or we're not going to do it.
Basically, it's just like, if
Because I
I get
think
up there
it's unfair.
first, I'll get that lane.
Well, then the cone deal's the better option there.
I
That's
agree.
what I'm trying to do.
If you're gonna do that.
I know we're going to do it his way, but we're going to do it car one. We're not going to start in the middle of the pack.
I like his way too, but, you know, we could even put a sign or a sticker.
The only reason that you even have to do this, because everybody stacks up in one lane.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is like you, if you're up there at Johnny on the spot, you'll get that left lane every time.
Well, yeah.
Oh, sure. No matter if we're drawing cards or
All
not.
right,
No,
now,
he's saying
no,
car one.
wait
But I
a
mean,
minute.
I want to do it.
Wait just a minute. What about if everybody feels that way?
We'll all be on the left one.
Okay.
And I've,
So, I
I've
mean, you
seen,
gotta understand what I'm
I've seen that happen. I've seen every car in the class get one lane.
But most of the
Well,
time.
I just tell, I mean,
You do.
I may wanna run the left lane, and this
You
is
do
how,
have
this is
some
what
people.
happens. And I'm talking to you as me, a racer,
Well, I mean,
Boy, I look at it.
that's what I'm here for.
if cars start lining up, okay, and I see a bunch of cars stacking up in the left lane, and, you know I want the left lane, but I look up front and I see a bunch of cars and I know I can outrun. I'm gonna go on up and get in that right lane because it ain't gonna matter. I'm just not gonna sit there
If
and get.
everybody would do that, then we wouldn't have the problem.
But then that's what I'm saying, everybody will start doing that if they know they're gonna get back there and draw cards. And they might get put in the right lane against, say, for
Well,
instance,
I don't know.
me and Keith, we're probably
I
two
don't
faster
know,
cars than the
drawing
rest.
cards or setting the cones, but we're gonna do one or the other from start to finish.
Gotcha.
Whatever you do, you gotta do from start to finish. You gotta do from the
Yeah, we
first
can't
car
do
to
it at the middle of the pack. And I understand where you're coming from, if they start stacking up,
If
then
they
that's a
say,
good way to get them
like, if you
over.
say, if you and him are lined up and he wants the left lane and you want the right, you're saying if that's okay, leave it that way.
But the thing about it
They're
is,
probably
we
gonna let
gotta-
everybody start stacking up, and then they're gonna get up there, and they're gonna
Right.
sort themselves out.
but we gotta get this thing lined up before we start.
Right. And we gotta get everybody in line and
Right.
all the class, same class in line.
Yeah,
So my thing is that you get everybody, you call the first class up, then you put your cone. The second class, they line up.
Right, but you get them, if you wanna use a card to line them up, I don't got no problem with that, but you start with card one and work your way back. That's how you do it.
Right.
Then stick your cone, I got no problem with that, but starting in the middle of the pack, I don't.
Let's just say you and Keith, say come down to the finals and run each other, and you want one lane, he wants the other. Well, it don't really make no difference, because everyone who gets high card's gonna go to the lanes he wants in.
True.
Well, I think.
but-
Then we'll draw cards for
Then
like
you're,
that.
But-
it's a good shot
If
again.
I know he works better in the right lane,
Oh, God.
I'm gonna play my game with him and I draw that card and put him in the lane he don't want.
Yeah, but that's,
Right or wrong?
here's the thing, cards has effect.
Exactly. That makes it
And
fast.
I think the last six,
I think down to the finals.
I think Dean has a draw.
I think what you showed-
I know, all night, go
I'll
to
put
the
him in
end.
another lane, but money back.
We did a walkthrough.
I got no problem with that, if you start from one.
All I'm saying is, if you got 18
The
cards in
test
the
the things you
class,
can play with and see
you
what
can
works
still
best.
do the
You know what I'm
same
saying?
thing. Nine in one side and nine in the other, because it
But
don't
now if you-
matter, because it's gonna
Well,
be.
it's gonna be the same difference.
If you
It's
start
gonna be with the card
first, when
anyway.
you first call them in, that's just time consuming, boys. Cause 90% of the time, when you call a class up,
People
Well, now,
say,
this year, let me tell you
Left,
something,
like
this
you
year, we're gonna have time limits on
Yes.
this thing. We're gonna have a bullhorn at cones, I think he's got a speaker system. We're not fortunate enough to have a big speaker system, but we'll have a guy going through the lot. But that's the reason I want all these cars lined up first. Then we're gonna do the Hillbilly outhouse race, what time we're getting the winners back up, lined up again, then we'll run them through again. That gives you
Run
all
all 5
15,
classes.
20, yeah, all 5 classes. We have a different color, you'll have a different color number, and that way we can tell what classes ended, what classes
Well,
started.
the thing about it is you need to let people know you mean business. If you don't get up there in time, then you forfeited.
Well, they
And
are,
that's,
but
you know,
now, and to it, at Combs, once you come and get through them gates, if you break, you're out, period.
But, you know, a lot of times, like when I park over, you know, down about halfway, I can't hear when they announce
Well,
it.
We're gonna come through over the
You know
bullhorn,
what I mean?
but you'll have, I think, a 15-minute interval
Still gonna have the radio station going.
from the, well, we're gonna have that over where we are. We're not gonna have it over there where you can't hear nothing.
No, they
What I'm
used to
saying is
broadcast
like,
it
turn
on
your radio
station.
to whatever. and it
87
goes
goes
I
out.
know.
If we had color coded the system and colored flags, you raise that green flag, somebody walk down the back, that means green
But
flag.
somehow or another, it
Yeah,
used to be
we got the
broadcast on the radio.
bullhorn, all these places are color coded.
Gotcha, I understand.
Okay.
You got red, yellow, orange, neon green, and
Yeah,
pink.
you can explain that to everybody at the driver's meeting and then everybody knows what to look for.
And where this is gonna be points, are there gonna be permanent numbers assigned?
Yeah,
Okay.
once you get this number at Combs,
All year.
you'll have a, right here is something that Andy, and I think he's gonna respect it just a little bit more. But right here is what you'll have, something similar. When you go through the gates at Combs, you'll get one of
Which is
these.
the first race.
You'll give it at every
You'll
race.
fill this out, yeah, you'll give them at every race, but you'll fill this out.
And if you already got a car number, you write it down.
Well, no, the tech will do that, because if you change your car, you may not be in that car club anymore. You may be in another class.
Because what we're gonna do is, this is gonna be electronically, so.
Yeah, it'll be on the computer.
But you'll fill that out when you come in, and that'll basically be our way of knowing who paid and
Because
what.
his wife,
But at the bottom
no
of
way
that,
can do all that.
at the bottom of that, we're gonna make notes, and we're gonna make notes on, okay, why are you in that class?
Right,
Okay, and not only are we gonna take, and I'm taking pictures of the cars as well. So
and the text name
I'm
has
gonna
to
take a
sign.
picture of the
Why
engine,
he
take a picture
made
of the
it
car.
say-
Oh, don't worry, if he changes his truck, I'm gonna let you know.
Everybody in that, but
Oh, well, I
here's
get plenty
here's
here.
the thing, you know,
Everybody will police each other.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will, but
But-
at least
but,
as somebody as myself that don't know, I can go, well, this is not what you had. You
Yeah.
know?
But this
And everybody's on
will
the
be
same
something
page.
similar to the sheet you'll get. I think he's gonna make one with an emblem on it,
Yeah.
but you'll get them at every track. And then this will be for his wife to enter it in the computer, cause it'll help us next year, get through a lot better and send emails out to everybody on notifications or whatever. It's just a personalized thing, like we want to send a group email to all the drivers.
It's important that all the,
You
you
know.
fill out that information, so like if we do have an issue where it may rain, okay, we can
let everybody
email
know.
everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's got them.
Or we can do a group text and text everybody and say, hey, it's postponed, or it's gonna be tomorrow, or whatever. Everybody will get that information. And then that way we'll also.
But, you know,
Is there a way to do something like that, say, where Chris was talking, where you can't hear really good at some of these? Like, if there was a way,
Well-
after the first race, after you got that information,
Yeah.
say, you wanted to call a lane to the, class to the lanes, send out like a text to everybody.
Well, what
Most
we're
people
gonna
use
do too,
smartphones, that
I
way
think
you know.
Pikeville, where you're on Main Street, we'll use the same golf cart, we'll have a flag stuck in it, whatever color, with a bullhorn. I think it works good down below, but maybe not up on top, maybe. But yeah, cause that's one reason why we brought the Hillbilly outhouse race in, kinda entertain the people what time
You're lining everybody
we're
up.
getting the second.
And you're running each class one round till you go through,
Yeah,
and then start back over.
yeah. That way everybody's got time to
And then the
charge the
finals
battery,
will all be, it'll start
do their
on street tire
nitrogen,
work.
check their tire pressure.
All that.
And that are test and tune, last man standing, guaranteed $1,000.
Now, what if you got like a class that's got double cars than everybody else?
Well, it's still the same way. Yeah, that way everybody can't say, well, you run this too fast, I can't. So
Until it
that
gets down to the
eliminates all that.
finals.
Just down to the finals, then we'll hold it.
Yeah, we're coming down to the finals, one place got 4 and one place got 20, well, yeah, we'll probably run you maybe class or 2 and run you, and then class or 2 and run the rest.
That's what I'm saying. You'll know when you register, if one class got 80 cars and the rest of them's got 40,
Right,
you know.
then actually we'll have
an extra
to,
round in somewhere for that
yeah,
class.
we'll have
Get
to
back on
run
track.
extra extra around whatever satisfies everybody, but we'd like to space it out so everybody got a little time to do the thing or whatever they want to do, ice or intakes or ice or coolers or whatever they're going to do with it.
That's why you need to run in classes. Don't run them all the way
In
out.
last man standing this year, we're gonna give out $1,000, last man standing. We're gonna have a 15-minute interval between every complete round.
Is that 1,000 one time or?
1,000 one time at
3
3
times.
o'clock.
Ain't we no more
I
than
think you start that 3 times again.
Pikeville's gonna have a test and tune, the
Every
Friday before the race. That night, we'll have a last man standing too. At this point, I've only got about $500 to give out, but.
You talking about the night before the race?
Yeah, the Friday.
And you can come and I'm 95% sure at this point, you can come and set up and you can keep your stuff there.
Yeah,
For
and
Saturday.
then leave it all night.
Leave it all night, so.
It's gonna be good, but
Friday
guys are
will be
gonna
our
help.
test and tune,
I
and
mean,
then-
instead of
Oh, I
griping and complaining, you have to.
Well, I'm not complaining.
I know that, but tell y'all you
Find
better.
out all the answers to the questions that's gonna be asked.
The less confrontation we got, if we done something wrong, come over and talk to us. You know, don't go on Facebook and kill us. I mean, hell, we're just trying to get something started here. Best thing been started in life.
I can knock it.
You know, best thing since the last 5 years. I mean, who else is giving away $65,000 in purses and prizes in a year's time? So, I mean, we've done pretty good, I think.
It's fun.
And the rules ain't the best. We're gonna talk about them, but, you know, like I said, it takes all 5 of us to make a change on them. So, if there's any changes, we'll post it, and, we'll just go from there. But I think it's gonna be a good year, and I think, you know, everybody's just gonna have to get on board and help us as much as we're trying to. But me and Andy puts lessons, ours, and him and Sean. I mean, it's a lot of time.
Yeah, I do have a question. There's been some conversation that if you can't be at a race, that someone can drive your car for you.
I got no problem with that. Cars,
No,
no.
register the cars, not the driver.
Right.
Because I will be out of town on April the 30th.
Yeah,
You want me to drive yours for you?
I'll drive it for you.
the car.
I still got some wheels left in me.
Like him, he can drive in all 5 classes as long as you got 5 different cars.
Right.
But now, the person driving it needs to have a driver.
Oh, I understand. Yeah, they'd have to pay to get
Yeah,
it.
yeah, they have to pay the.
I just gotta be out of town.
And everybody understands it's $50 to see the
Registration
race,
race.
and $10 to get in. That's how we're gonna raise the $65,000 to give you guys, so. And actually, it's more than that, that was just a good round there. It was actually like almost 68,000, if you count trophies and plaques and last man standings and the payout, we're gonna pay off.
I want to get as much of it as I can.
But, you know, that's pretty good for the first year that we're gonna
That's a
do
real
this.
good payout for your local, I tell you that.
I mean, it is. and, you
Yeah,
know,
it is.
If we get a good car crowd and stuff, and Andy's top and stuff, I mean, there's possibility we raise it. You know, just depending on how many people get behind us.
Yeah.
Cause we've started a little deal on our own on the championship thing is separate from his, separate from mine, separate from, it's a little kit all its own. So anybody wants to put money in it, can. So, you know, if people put enough money in it, then we'll give it away. We ain't got no problem with it.
Take sponsorship from anybody.
Yeah.
Are you gonna make an official rain date for anything, or just wait and see for?
Our rain dates will follow the next test and tune, if we can't do it on Sunday.
So if it rains on April the 30th, when would it be pushed to?
Sunday.
Son, if it rains out
Rains
then.
in.
If it rains out then, it'll be pushed to the next test and tune date.
Mine will
Don't be
be,
wishing no rain.
And what we'll do at that point is, next test and tune, we'll just run 2 tests and tune. We'll start at noon, run 1 at noon, 1 at 3.
now, the way mine will work, my point series, my 2-point series races are May and August. If some reason we get rained out in August, the actual point series race will be in June, the second weekend of June. But it doesn't mean that I may not have that same, that August race. I may redo that August race, but to make it fair, I'm gonna make the test and tune or any of my dates that get rained out will have to fall the following month or the second weekend.
So if your second one gets rained out, that's a point series race. You say the one prior to that would
It'll
be?
go to the next, like the
No,
month.
it's
before.
the next.
The next week, the next month, the second weekend.
Because he's actually got, what, 6 races?
I have 6
Right.
races yet.
So we're just taking 2 of them for the points, so
Right.
we'll go to the next one.
Right, so if May gets rained,
That'd be
if May gets
June.
rained out,
It'd be
it'll be
June.
June the 12th or whatever it is.
I think you said August.
He did, he went back.
I'm sorry.
You confused him.
Yeah, I know.
It's been a long day.
I knew what you was wanting
Yeah,
to say,
I
but,
do too.
you know, but, yeah, the same way with us. We're, you know, 'cause that's just a set date. We just go to the next testing tune. It's already out there, it's already planned, it's already there.
Well, for the most part, what it ends up doing for me, if I have to reschedule a race and do it like the next weekend or something, I've got way too many different things
Yeah.
going on. So what I'm probably gonna end up doing is just
Yeah.
canceling it, go to the next month,
That makes
because that way my insurance will already be covered and all
That's
that.
the same with me too.
And also, and I'm sure they do the same thing here, but just because you're in the point series, we're having for the first points race in Pikeville, you may have 15, 20 guys that might not like to go over and race if you have a point race. When you come, if they don't come to the first one and they want to show up that second, they pay their money.
They still have to pay the $50.
But
Yeah, $50.
they will pay
They're
$50.
still gonna be on the list.
They will actually go in the list if they don't run to that one race.
They'll get a permanent number.
What I'm trying to do
They race
is I'm
2
trying
or
to put this in the
3
paper.
or whatever.
On a Monday morning, you'll get it in the paper that here's the standings.
Well, it'll look
Now,
something
if I can
similar
get
to this.
News Express to do that, then I'm trying to get them to, come to these races as a sporting event, like a sporting event.
It'll look something like that.
Tally, yeah.
First race, second race, third race, and then you points over here and then that's basically.
Now, you're doing your points, 5 points to show to each event, right?
Have to run the first race.
5 points to show up, you gotta finish the first race, or
First round.
start.
First round.
Okay,
A point per round
1 point per round,
that you win.
2 for the winner. Well, if you produce, after you show up, you get 5. The winners will go, they'll get 1 point to the next one,
Yeah.
and the next one get 1 point.
If you win that event, do you get any more extra bonus
You
points?
get 2 for the winner, so you get 5, 1, 1, 1, however you run. Maybe 10 rounds, maybe 3 rounds.
Right.
But you'll get 5 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
So you'll end up with 9 points.
Gotcha.
And the runner-up will end up with 6 points, or 7 points.
And that's.
So they'll get 5, 6,
Each
or
race,
7.
each race, if you show up to race, you get 5 points.
Yeah, 5 bonus points. So,
So,
Well,
but basically,
runners-
if somebody drives my truck in the first, I'm guaranteed 5 points if it makes one pass.
Yes.
If you win the first round, you'll have 6 points.
well, if you win first round, you go to the next round, that'll give
But
you
if they
that.
get beat in my truck.
Everybody in that next round get 1 point, and then the winners of that round will go in, and they'll
So
get,
it would be achievable that you could not do too good in one race and still
Oh, yeah.
come back.
Right.
well, not unless somebody breaks or don't show up, or something like that nature, you know.
That's the reason it's a 7-race championship.
Unless I gotta run Chris, then I ain't got no
And,
chance.
you know, and I know he mentioned about knocking one of the points off, or one of the races off. Well, if we had more races, I would be into that. But for 7 races, if you knock one off, then.
With rain and stuff going on, you'd be lucky if you don't.
That's what I'm saying. You know, if we'd have done 15, 16, 17 races, yeah, if you want to kick out a low and a high, that's fine with me, but 7 races, we'll be lucky to get them in. But,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, when's how long getting that last race in a Bible? Rescheduled the 3rd time when we got it in. That's
you
why.
know, we'd be lucky to get down here, you know, it rained everywhere, but
It
on
blows off
us.
at
All
all
around
around.
us.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it did. I thought we were going to call it 2 or 3 times, but it didn't rain.
But it's a good thing. I think everybody in the room wants it to happen, you know.
Well, it is, and we're not perfect. Me and Andy was talking to him, and we're not a NHRA track. We don't have equipment they got. We're done.
Same thing with everything else. When I first started doing it, I throw an old piece of junk together and tried to do it, and I worked at it and worked at it and worked at it.
That's what
That's
it's
the fun
for, to have
part.
fun, but we're trying to put some money in it to make it a little bit more feasible
And I
for
think,
people to do, you
and
know.
Andy can correct me on this if I am wrong, I may be, But hey, Tim gonna set video up at the start line and the finish lines, or is he just gonna do the finish?
Well, he's gonna use our lights, I think, at the finish, ain't you?
We're gonna, because our track's gonna get bigger, we're gonna use the lights, so we're just gonna have it at the start.
You definitely need to video the start line. That's such a
We're
controversy.
gonna, we're gonna video the start.
Yeah, that guy that had that, I don't know if that's Tim, but he had that.
Fields, yeah.
I mean, there was controversy on one, I went over and watched that video, no question asked. I mean, he slowed it plumb down, but
Well, the one he put on the video, the guy trashed us on, you know? I mean,
who was?
the one that trashed us on the video, the black car. I mean,
He rode 5 foot.
He jumped that fur, you know? And he got on Facebook for 3 days and gave us a hard time like we was no good and all this. Well, let's look at the video. If we're wrong, we'll correct it. But wait until we get the evidence out there before you start trashing us. So, at least to say he can't race the cones no more, because, you know, we don't need people like that.
Now 64 won't be a problem, you got the starting line and the finish line.
Right.
So theirs is tough.
Pro tree.
And they're not gonna let you deep stage or anything
It's
like
pro
that.
tree up there too, ain't it?
Oh, you don't mess around. You're in
Yeah.
it.
But now let me tell you something, you've always wanted to run your boxes, now he's gonna change the times on you, so now.
I don't run
You can't run the delay box on Pro 3.
No.
There's no
You
benefit.
can't, there's
And
Well, some of them say it's 4/10, some of them 5/10.
Not on a pro tree.
Uh,
I don't think a delay box is that fast, is
you
it?
know,
I don't think so.
but yeah, I mean, if you don't wanna line them up with cars, I got no problem with that, but we start, number one, and line them up.
I like your common idea better.
Me too.
You know,
If you got an option to get in the lane. you-
because see, the car deal is fire, I'm for it, but you can't start in the middle of that.
I got a question.
I
If you
think
do the
that's
cone
right.
deal and 10 lines up, you put the cone down.
Yep.
And
The
just
10
so-
If there's 10 car races, I'm gonna put it on the 5th car.
but if there's 5 on the right lane and 5 in the left lane, I don't see why we wouldn't run. If you put the cone back there at 10, start back there if you don't wanna get in line. Put them, if you don't want them back there, put them where you, over there, draw cars back in, whatever.
Well,
Here's my thing with the cones, and then I just, you know, we got a pit rule that you can't drive faster than 5 miles an hour. Or, I mean, you're gonna have people trying to get there fast.
And that's what I just.
I don't want no safety issues. I mean, the city of Pikeville, I mean, we're gonna have a lot of people in town with the muscle lane and everything, and I can't afford to have somebody get run over. So I would rather just get everybody to the staging lane
Then do it.
and then let the cars do the
That's fine,
talk.
whatever, that's fair.
well, I mean,
That's my vote.
You can do it with a cone here and do
but
the
we're
cards up there.
gonna put the cone back at the numbers and let you come in as you line up. I mean.
You close that lane off as they're coming around the corner.
Right.
Well, Pikeville can do what they want.
That's what I said, it don't have to be set.
I mean, I
You know,
can do
Pikeville's
cars,
done
we do
electronic,
cars
if it's on the
that
top of the
cones.
bracket,
It
you
don't
got
matter to
to
me.
you know?
I like how Pikeville started doing it from the very first. You come in, you got that little piece of paper, and they draw out the bracket, and that's how you run
Is
it.
the bracket set before you go up?
Now, the problem with that, we thought about that for all winter, we talked about that. Okay, the problem is that getting people
Lined up.
lined up. And the
You
fact
call them
is,
15 times, they don't
And they
even run
don't-
up.
we had an issue with 30 cars trying, can you imagine what the issue's gonna be if we got 150? Now, I don't have any room, so that's why, now, I'm gonna have from Pike Street all the way to the movie theater, 2 staging lanes. So they'll be able to roll up there and park, and then we'll call the next round of guys to come up. As we're running them through, we're gonna get
Line in
them
the second class.
line in the second class. We'll have somebody standing at the head saying, car. They'll go, get in the lane you need.
Well, I think we run them in order too, that these drivers in the pit will see what
Oh,
code
yeah,
will buy.
absolutely.
Well, no, well,
Definitely run them in order.
Start with the lowest one.
I think to keep that pace going, but like I said, if you wanna run the cars, I got no problem with that. But we'll just back the staging lane up, so they don't all get up there and start crisscrossing. Let them come in, and they're staged as they come in.
Yeah, it works good. If you have plenty of time, hit the computer, let the computer scramble them and throw them print out of who you run.
We don't have that
But
much
we
time.
ain't got that much
We
time
can
to
run
move this many cars.
No.
Cause we run, during our lights test and tuning, we had 80-some cars. Well, I got the stats here, I think we had one race had 50-some in it. 52 in one race, we had 57 in one race, and 49 in one race. And we run them 3 times through. And you know what time we had, because you had 2 or 3 that waited to try it. And you had that one guy that waited to start line 2 or 3 times, got mad at me because we raced them all. I said, "Buddy, you waited it every time you've been up here." I mean, Jesus. But time is gonna be our enemy on this deal. Because if I start these races at, say, 2 o'clock on Saturday, and we were at the track 2 or 3 times, and we got 150 cars,
We're gonna be in trouble.
I mean, that's the only thing about the staging that we gotta get down and get going to get these cars run.
You use the first testing tube and figure out what works best.
During the
Try 2 or 3 different
everybody-
things and whatever works best for you. that's what you
And
do.
we can use the cones, we can use the cards. But if we use the cards, we start from 1. We start from the first card
You figure it out.
through all of them, because I think that's enough to fire.
I can tell you another issue you're gonna have, nobody's thought about, with that, your street class cars. If it's hot out, about 90% of them gonna be sitting in the car running air conditioner on. I think you need to absolutely do not have them air conditioners running, because they'll drop water all over the track for these faster cars.
Well, that could be an issue, you know.
But we need to,
At
we need
least
to
when
address
they
that
come
in
through.
drivers, make just say,
Yeah,
"Boy,
they always do."
absolutely, you do not run air conditioners on these street cars."
You know, because, I mean, it can be a problem, you know. But that's what I'm saying is the only thing I'm trying to do is see how fast. And the last testing team, we run some pretty good, we run over 200 races, sets of races in about 4 hours and a half, which was pretty good, I think, between the arguing and begging and all that. But, you know, if you want to issue the card deal, that's fine, but we'll have to move it on back and card them and line them up and card them. I got no problem lining them up like that.
I think it's gonna be the quickest.
You know, I think it would be too, on time. Now, it may not be the first way, but, you know.
It's
You know,
fine for everybody.
You come in and
Every
want the right
lane is
lane, you
fair.
want the left lane, you go up to it. Once that lane goes up, you gotta go to the other lane.
Right. It's one way or the other, and I don't care which
Just
one
like
it is.
marking up on the staging lane area.
You know.
I say motion to adjourn.
Because this year at our gates, we're gonna have a city policeman up there. There won't be people standing up there like they have in the past. We're gonna move that back about 100 feet where they have to cross. Because you just, they get in there and they clog stuff up, and if we do need to back one out or cross one over, you can't do it for the people. You know, they don't mean to be in the way, but they are in the way.
They wanna see where all that is
They
at.
want to walk.
Well, let's roll up there and watch that green Mustang run.
But, you know, I mean, we're just going to have to make a few changes. People ain't gonna like it, but that's just the way it is. Because like Andy says, safety is number 1, because when we get somebody hurt, it's over anyway. Even if it's run over or a car wreck, we're done. So that's the reason why last year I put the boy out walking down the return lane. I mean, it says don't enter, don't come in here. I mean, what part of
Now,
that?
you're allowed one in burnout box with you this year.
As long as you don't go past the burnout.
Right.
Am I correct?
You are allowed one.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
Cause most of our old
Anybody else have any more questions?
somebody push back.
Hey guys, I'm gonna slice the cake over here if y'all want my cake by the water.
But,
I gotta-